You won't believe what's happening in the world of MMA right now. 1 minute, fans are screaming, arenas are packed, and fighters are living the dream. The next, headlines are screaming warnings, politicians are raising alarms, and doctors are painting a terrifying picture of danger. Could the sport that millions love, the sport that made heroes and legends, actually be on the verge of being banned? Yeah, it sounds insane, but the storm brewing behind the lights and cameras is very real. Let's start with the obvious. MMA is brutal. Not just tough or challenging, brutal. Bones break, brains shake, lives can change in an instant. For years, fans have cheered every punch, every kick, every knockout. We've celebrated warriors who've pushed the limits of human endurance. But somewhere along the way, the thrill started clashing with reality. Doctors are raising red flags about brain injuries, long-term trauma, and the hidden dangers fighters face every time they step into the cage. It's not just about winning or losing anymore. It's about survival. Politicians are paying attention too, and not because they're suddenly fans. They see a sport that's grown too violent, too popular, and maybe too uncontrolled. Lawsuits are brewing. Ethical debates are exploding on social media. Some lawmakers are whispering, or even shouting, about shutting down MMA entirely. And it's not just about health. It's about image, reputation, and control. Governments and institutions are asking themselves, do we allow this sport to continue, or do we draw the line here? But here's where it gets even more shocking. This isn't just about banning a sport for safety. It's about power. The organizations behind MMA are massive, rich, and politically connected. Money talks, deals are made behind closed doors, and influence is everything. Could this ban threat actually be a game of strategy? A move in a high-stakes chess match between politicians, corporations, and media moguls who all want a piece of the MMA empire? Possibly. And the kicker? The fans, the fighters, the adrenaline-fueled excitement, they're caught right in the middle. Meanwhile, fighters themselves are in the eye of the storm. Careers are on the line. People who trained their entire lives for glory, fame, and financial reward could wake up tomorrow and see their profession under threat. Imagine dedicating years to mastering a sport you love, only to realize the entire structure supporting it could collapse because of politics, money, and public opinion. It's terrifying, and it's happening right now. And here's the part that will shock you even more. Some of the biggest names in MMA aren't just worried. They're quietly preparing for a future where the sport could change forever. Training camps are shifting strategies, organizations are lobbying harder than ever, and legal teams are working overtime. Every fight, every event, every paycheck could become part of a larger battle that has nothing to do with skill or athleticism, and everything to do with survival. Fans are divided too. Some are screaming, MMA is dangerous, it should be banned. Others are furious, defending the sport with everything they've got. Social media is exploding with arguments, memes, and viral videos of knockouts, injuries, and behind-the-scenes moments. The debate is everywhere, and it's growing louder every day. The reality is this: MMA has always been a thrill ride, a spectacle of human willpower and endurance. But now, the very essence of the sport, the violence, the risk, the unpredictability, could be the reason it faces extinction. The blood, sweat, and cheers that built the MMA empire could also become the evidence used against it. And if it happens, the sport as we know it might vanish, leaving only memories, controversy, and unanswered questions about what could have been. So what happens next? Will MMA survive, adapt, and emerge stronger? Or will this storm finally break the cage, silence the fans, and end the careers of thousands of fighters forever? One thing is certain. This isn't just a story about a sport. It's about culture, power, money, and human fascination with danger. The answer could shock you, and it might be closer than you think. Keep your eyes open, because the fight isn't just in the ring anymore. It's everywhere, and the stakes have never been higher. MMA might not just be changing. It might be facing its ultimate test. And when the dust settles, the world might look back and realize that the sport we loved was never just entertainment. It was a battlefield in every sense of the word. The controversy is spreading faster than anyone expected. Medical journals are publishing studies that could influence lawmakers. News outlets are broadcasting emotional stories of families impacted by injuries, while commentators speculate wildly about the future of the sport. Social media is full of heated debates, viral clips of shocking knockouts, and predictions of the end of MMA as we know it. Every post, every tweet, every headline adds fuel to a fire that could engulf the entire industry. Fighters are not just spectators in this chaos, they're participants in a war far bigger than the cage. Some are strategizing legal defenses, consulting PR experts, and reaching out to politicians. Others are quietly considering retirement, worried that the sport they've devoted their lives to might be outlawed before they achieve the glory they've worked for. Every punch they throw now feels like a protest, every fight a statement, because the rules of the game outside the cage are shifting faster than ever. Even promoters and organizations are feeling the pressure. Events that once sold out in minutes are now scrutinized for safety protocols, medical preparedness, and ethical oversight. Sponsors hesitate to invest, fearing backlash or negative publicity. Contracts are being renegotiated, and negotiations behind closed doors are becoming more intense than any fight in the ring. The business of MMA is entering uncharted territory, where survival depends not on skill alone, but on navigating a web of politics, media, and public perception. The fan base is split like never before. Hardcore supporters rally behind their favorite fighters, defending the sport's tradition and celebrating its drama. Casual observers, alarmed by medical warnings and viral injury videos, demand reforms or outright bans. The tension between passion and concern is growing daily, and the debates are spilling into every corner of social media. Every viral clip, every shocking highlight, every doctor's warning adds a new layer of anxiety and speculation. And here's the most chilling part. If MMA is banned, it won't just be fights that disappear. Entire communities built around gyms, training programs, and local leagues could vanish overnight. Countless people whose livelihoods depend on the sport, coaches, referees, promoters, trainers, broadcasters, would face sudden uncertainty. The ripple effect would be massive, leaving an industry that thrived for decades teetering on the edge of collapse. The irony is undeniable. MMA's rise has been meteoric, fueled by spectacle, adrenaline, and audience hunger for extreme competition. Yet the very elements that made it irresistible, its violence, unpredictability, and sheer human endurance, are now the exact reasons it could face extinction. The blood, the sweat, the epic moments of triumph, and the heartbreak of defeat could all be used as evidence against it. And in that sense, the sport might be a victim of its own success. So here's the bottom line. MMA is at a crossroads, facing pressures from politics, medicine, law, media, and public opinion. Its future is uncertain, its survival not guaranteed. Every fight, every event, every fan reaction now carries weight beyond entertainment. The sport that defined generations of fighters and fans could be reshaped or even banned forever. And when that day comes, people will remember not just the fights, but the storm that threatened to end them all, revealing the fragile, shocking, and complex world that exists behind every punch thrown in the cage. The fighters, fans, and promoters are all holding their breath. Every event is a test, every headline a potential turning point. The fight for MMA isn't just inside the cage anymore. It's happening in courts, newsrooms, and social media feeds. The sport that once seemed unstoppable now faces challenges that could change it forever. And whether it survives or falls, one thing is clear. The story of MMA has never been just about fighting. It's about power, money, culture, and the human obsession with danger, thrill, and glory. The clock is ticking. Lawsuits are pending. Debates are raging. Doctors are warning, politicians are watching, and fans are divided like never before. Every knockout video, every viral clip, every emotional story is part of a battle MMA didn't sign up for, but can't ignore. The cage is no longer the center of the fight. Outside forces are dictating terms, shaping futures, and determining if the sport that defined generations will survive. And here's the ultimate shocker. The next decade could be the most dramatic in MMA history. Legends could retire prematurely, rising stars could vanish, and the culture of the sport could transform forever. The adrenaline, the fights, the glory, they may all become memories, preserved in clips and stories, but not in the live reality fans have loved. MMA may not just be evolving, it may be facing an existential threat that could redefine everything about how it's played, watched, and remembered.